Hi everyone, I'm Hone, and here are the most played colorless cards at the 2020 Mythic Invitational, where the format is historic. At number 3, it is Scrabbling Claws. This artifact lets you pick apart your opponent's graveyard, an effect that is very much welcome in a format featuring creatures who refuse to stay in the graveyard, like Uro, Woe Strider, and Cauldron Familiar. The claws can also be cashed in for a card after they have dealt with the problems in the graveyard, and that also means that it's a decent draw even if your opponent doesn't have graveyard stuff going on early, because at least it replaces itself. It also sacrifices itself, which makes Mayhem Devil and friends pretty happy. At number 2, it is Witch's Oven, a card that goes a long way towards making sacrifice decks what they are in Historic. The sweetest thing to do with it is to combine it with Cauldron Familiar, which allows you to activate it every single turn, something that really gives your deck inevitability. That combo was enough to get the Familiar banned in Standard, but it is still intact in Historic. Sacrificing the creature also tends to trigger stuff like Midnight Reaper, making the combo even more disgusting. You can also combine the Familiar and the food with sacrifice payoffs like Mayhem Devil. And at number 1, it is Grafdigger's Cage. Like Scrabbling Claws, it hates on the graveyard. The cage doesn't exile anything, but it does immediately make it so stuff can't come out of the graveyard instead of just going after one card at a time. As I've already mentioned, this format is loaded up with obnoxious creatures who won't stay dead, like Uro, Cauldron Familiar, and Woe Strider. Lurrus decks also tend to feature graveyard nonsense apart from the companion, planning on casting spells out of the graveyard using Dreadhorde Arcanist, and this shuts that down too. Because Grafdigger's Cage is colorless, it's easy for any deck to play it, and it hates on so many things in this format that it's the most played colorless card at this Mythic Invitational. Those were the 3 most played colorless cards at Mythic Invitational 2020. If you want to see more of my card countdowns, check out my YouTube channel, Magic.